Welcome. We're talking about protecting our energy today, and I thought today would be perfect with the full moon in Aries, the grandmother moon, and I just want to share with you some different techniques of how to protect your energy. And so first, the best way to do this, to always start, is to know what our energy feels like, to know our own personal energy, which it can take time. It doesn't mean today we'll figure that out and we know it. And our energy is always changing with what moods we're in and the time of day and where we're living in situations, if we're traveling, not. But there's always like an inner knowing. And so I want us to help connect to that. So let's begin with that. If it's available to you, close your eyes. You can bring your palms together at the heart center, connecting that way, or you can take your palms facing up, place them on top of your knees, receiving the energy in this space, or you can face palms down, grounding the energy within your whole being down into the earth. Let's take 3 rounds of breath here. Take an inhale all the way up to the top, and exhale it out. Take another deep inhale, hold it up at the top, and then exhale it out. And one more deep inhale and exhale. And just take a moment here to sit within this space, to hold yourself here and just start to be aware of how you're feeling inward. If there's any area in the body that you're feeling any tension, tightness, or blocks, just be aware of it, not trying to change it, but just be aware, come into that witness mind. If you notice any area that's feeling really juicy and open, just be aware of that also. Just start to come into this wordless listening, this connection inward, this inner knowing. And if you'd like to stay here a little longer, you can, or if you're ready to move on, you can open your eyes gently. So welcome. I want to talk about protection today and how to protect our energy. And the reason why is over the weekend I had an experience where somebody had directed their energy at me. They were very upset about something and they projected it on me. And at the time, I knew it wasn't about me. I knew it was something else was going on, much bigger. Sorry, there's smoke coming up. I have my sage going. So if you see the smoke coming up, I'll explain that in a little bit. And I realized when it happened, how was I able to move through it? How was I able to shift the energy and move out? And I realized I had a lot of tools that I could pull from that over the years I've developed through my own personal spiritual work or through counselors and helping me understand how to work through this. So the first thing was I found my support system. And for me, that was my husband and my sister and a good friend of mine who was also the facilitator of the group that this incident happened at. And so for me, I was able to be really supported and express my emotions and exactly how I felt, how I needed to without judgment. So that's really key. If you don't have a support system like that, that's okay. We can do it through journaling. I also journaled, and I made sure that I expressed whatever emotion I needed to. Sometimes it can come out with anger. It can come out through crying. It can come out through sadness. It can come out through just happiness, giggling. Sometimes we laugh with humor because we just are so uncomfortable with how we're feeling. So however it comes up, just being able to express that in the space we need to. And it's really important to have that support system so that we can do that. And so for me, that was available to me right on hand, and I'm very blessed for that. So I did that. I cried, I journaled, I talked, I got my support, I did all of that, but there was still needed some more shifting. So one of the tricks I've done for many years is rosemary oil, and rosemary oil is great for many things, but one thing is that it's the mother wolf protection oil. And so what you can do is you want to place a drop of it on the crown of your head. You can either drop it or put it on your finger and find that spot on the crown of the head. And you always want to set the intention of what you're protecting. So for me, for instance, in this situation, I was protecting myself from other people's energy, other people's issues, and protecting my energy from that space. And then another thing you can do is I keep a cleansing oil mixed with water, and it's a little spray. Smells really good too. And I will go through the space where this happened, or maybe in my own space or on myself, and I'll say I'm cleansing of this situation, and I might name it. I might name projection, anger, rage, and I'll say I'm cleansing of that. And then also, of course, I have my sage, and this This beautiful ceramic flower my daughter made so many years ago, and I use it for my sage, and I love it. So for me, you can use these super cool charcoals. I don't know if anyone's ever seen these, but you can get these. I got this here in Hawaii at Down to Earth, and they're just these little charcoals. You light them up, and they'll keep your stuff warm. So even if you make your own I've made my own sages and other things for different things. You can make it and you can create your own and wherever you want. But sometimes when I really want to keep my sage burning for a while, I have some Palo Santos in here too. I love the smell of that. And then I have a sage, and I use this amazing feather that I have, this beautiful, I made it during my priestess training. And there's different motions you can use. If you're trying to unite and connect and do a very positive energy connection, you can do an infinity sign, and you can just repeat whatever you're creating in the beautiful space. But if you're trying to get rid of the energy, which I was trying to do, you want to take it, you want to push it out. And you want to go to all the corners of the windows and in the whole room. You want to go to the doors, and you want to have all the doors and windows open so you can push the energy out into that space, and you ask it to leave, and you set your intention of what you're pushing out. This is a really incredible tool. It's been around for many generations, many different cultures, and it definitely feels really good and cleansing. You can also do it on yourself. You can cleanse yourself. I definitely took some sage and went around. I always go around the crown of my head, through my whole body, asking it to be cleansed and moved out of me all the way down to my feet and let it shift out. So there's some tools. There's also, you can have black tourmaline, which is a crystal, and this is a protection crystal. And you can just keep it with you. For me, I've kept it in my pocket or my purse lately, and you always set your intention with it, asking it to protect you from this energy that's been coming in, this other force, however you need to, whatever you're trying to protect. Also, one of my favorites is you don't need this fun little magical world here. You can do it just with yourself. So one of them is by doing a mudra, and Abaha is a mudra for protection. And that is where you take your right hand up, and your left hand you can rest down in your belly. And this is this fearless protector. And you can connect to this, maybe meditate in this space. I also love, whenever I'm going through something like this, my favorite tool of all is a meditation. It's a Metta meditation. And I do this meditation even when things are really good, but when I'm dealing with something or someone that's really difficult for me, I pull out this meditation all the time. I do this meditation every morning after I finish my full meditation. I send this meditation out for each of my children, for my husband, for myself, for my dog, for anyone I want to at the time. It's beautiful, and it's a great way to do it. So what you do is you always start with yourself, because you cannot give what you don't have. So you always start the metta with yourself, and then we give it to others. So I will guide you through that, and I would like you to find a comfortable seat to be guided through that. So let's take a moment here, take the shoulders up and down, and we'll just rest here. Take an inhale. And exhale, we'll begin with ourself. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be safe from inner and outer dangers. May I be well in mind and body. May I be at ease and happy. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be safe from inner and outer dangers. May I be well in mind and body. May I be at ease and happy. Feel free to come into your mudra, taking the right arm up, the left hand down by the belly, or resting in the lap. And now that we've connected to ourselves, and you can repeat that as many times as you'd like for yourself. And then when you're ready, you can start to send it out to somebody you love, somebody close to you, someone it's natural and easy to send unconditional love to. Send it to them first. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. May you be well in mind and body. May you be at ease and happy. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. May you be well in mind and body. May you be at ease and happy. And just sit with that as long as you like. You can continue in that space for that person, for that loved one, or if you're ready to move on and move it into someone you're having a difficult time with, somebody you're struggling with, maybe an enemy, will continue to send it to them. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. May you be well in mind and body. May you be at ease and happy. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. May you be well in mind and body. May you be at ease and happy. And you may notice that time when you are sending it out to someone you're struggling with, it might not feel as natural and as easy as when you started with yourself or your loved one. But the more we do this, the more we practice this, it will help and it will send it out. So feel free to stay there and continue with this as long as you like. I also will have it written down here for you. This is by Jack Kornfield, who is a Buddhist monk. And I was introduced to this meditation many years ago when I first started meditating. And it's helped me get through many relationships with people that I've struggled with, or I'm learning how to be in the relationship with them when they came up being very difficult. It's a beautiful tool. It's also a tool you can use for somebody who's going through a hard time and you don't know how to be there for them. For instance, I had someone very close to me miscarry, and it was very hard and painful for me and my family, and we wanted to do what we could, but there's really not much we could do except support. But we sat together as a family and we sent this Metta meditation out to this being that had just miscarried. And so there are ways that we can send our energy out. We can use this for positive, we can use it to help us. So just finding how it comes up for you, but definitely when we're trying to protect ourselves, this can be a really great tool. I want to speak a little bit about trauma really quick before I send you off. So trauma gets the term a lot. We hear it a lot for PTSD, and if you've been sexually abused or if you've been physically attacked, everyone talks about, oh, you have trauma. But trauma, yes, it is definitely those things. And those are very extreme cases of trauma. Trauma, the definition of trauma is just when something happens and your nervous system cannot handle it. So trauma can be somebody name-calling you. Trauma can be a car almost hitting you. Trauma, and even though it doesn't hit you, just that your body's reacting. Trauma can be somebody projecting their anger onto you. Trauma can be many things. And so we need to treat it with that much love and respect. And so sometimes when we have incidents and people may think we're being overly sensitive or we're over dramatic, no, there's trauma that's involved in that. And so really honoring that and finding ways and little tricks and tools and magical things to do to help us feel powerful in them. To not feel powerless and feel like somebody just took our power away. No, we always have that power within us. And it's time to reclaim that and know that when something comes up, when somebody interferes, when somebody comes into our space, that we can do things to clear it out. We can cleanse it. We can create our own beautiful cocoon of energy and protection. And so I hope this is very helpful for you. If you have questions or you're wondering about anything I brought up or where to get any of these things, most people now, we can find oils pretty much anywhere. We have friends who sell oils, or you can find them at Whole Foods. Here in Hawaii, we have other places like Down to Earth. I know other places around the world, there's places you can get your oils. You can order online. Saging you can find anywhere at a Whole Foods or a place that has natural things. You can find them at any type of priestess store, any kind of witch store. You can find them. So I personally find mine here in Hawaii at Down to Earth. They have a really awesome selection. I have so many different. I have this like little basket I keep, and I have different ones for different things that I'm saging. There's ones for new beginning, ones for blessings, there's ones for harmony, there's ones for clearing out. So I really encourage you to try out different things and for different situations, and to know that you have the power to really shift and not to feel stuck, to not get into that fight or flight mode. We get into fight or flight and freeze, and sometimes we let that take over. And I know for me in this instance, when I felt being attacked, my first instinct was to just leave and go cry in my room. And so I know that feeling, and that's a very natural feeling, whatever it is. Or some people, it's to rage and fight back, and trust me, that was there too. But really I stayed composed. I told myself, this is not yours, this is someone else's. And I really helped myself in that moment not project it back. And I did try and go speak to this person after and just see how I could, work this out with them. And, sometimes it's not up to us how other people are going to deal with stuff. And it really isn't. And we only have control over ourselves. We don't have control over others. And so when we have that moment where we can take our power back and have control over how we're going to respond, that's when we have our power back. So I want to send that with you, sending lots of love. Mahalo.